Behind us is the Audi Q5.
It's a mid-sized SUV, it's very practical, it's very cool, and it is a touch smaller than the Q7 as well, so it's a lot easier to park.
Not to mention it's also considerably cheaper. The range does start from just under £40,000, however the model we have here is around £54,000.
But that's a great price because you get things like your 20-inch alloy wheels, you get your panoramic sunroof, and you get that adaptive air suspension too.
That is very impressive.
It is.
We do also have quattro, a 2-litre TDI engine, and it's blown us away so far.
It has, and it's not just this engine as well. You get a V6 diesel and you get a petrol engine as well.
Yeah, you really can make the car your own.
You can.
Now, I'm going to be taking a look at the interior, the functionality, the practicality.
I'll be looking at the exterior, the styling, and then I'll be driving it because
I'm not allowed to.
Well, exactly, yeah. Michael's still not reached that 25-year-old age yet, so I have to drive these, which, oh well.
Oh well, it's a real hardship.
It is.
Then we'll bring you our verdict on whether or not this is the car for you. Stepping into the Q5, it's exactly what you would expect from Audi. There's soft touch materials on the top of the dash, there's these brushed style finishes, the high quality switches and buttons. Even when you reach lower down, the materials still have a nice feel to them. These half leather seats are very comfortable, they have a nice sporty feel to them as well. In this grey colour it does lighten up this interior a bit as well. When it comes to functionality, you've got all around electric windows, power folded heated door mirrors. They do also have the blind spot detection in there. It's nice and bright, you are not going to miss that. What's a really nice touch. You've got heated electrically operated seats with the memory function. Audi's virtual cockpit, which is class leading. There is also driver assist, which identifies things like junctions and roundabouts. It tells you to slow down. You have automatic wipers, automatic lights, cruise control. It isn't adaptive, that would have been nice to see. You do also have your media controls on the steering wheel. When it comes to the infotainment system, you have satellite navigation, Apple CarPlay, DAB radio, everything you would expect. It's all controlled using this intuitive rotary dial. You do also have a nice touch pad where you're able to put in letters for the sat-nav. There is also tri-zone climate control with heated front seats. You have your buttons for the driving modes, stop start, park pilot which parks the car for you, hill descent control, and also your automatic and electric handbrake. The wireless charging pad is a really nice touch, and the Bang & Olufsen sound system is out of this world. It's one of the best we've experienced to date. There's also a USB port here, and there's another with an auxiliary port in the armrest. When it comes to practicality, you're not going to fall short. There's plenty of headroom despite the panoramic sunroof, and there's plenty of legroom. The seats are fully electrically operated. There is also electric lumbar support, and they're heated. The steering wheel has plenty of adjustment with reach and height adjustment. The door bins are of a very good size. You could fit about 3 of these little bottles of water in there. The central storage area is of a nice size. You could put a snack bar or something like that in there, and the charging pad reveals 2 cup holders. There is a little tray here for something like the key, and there's a very small cubby here. I think one of the downfalls of having this touchpad is there's no central storage area here, but that's very good for putting in the sat-nav directions. There is also a decent sized glove box. Overall, it's a great place to be in here. The ambient mood lighting, the illuminated kick plates, and that out of this world sound system make it more like a boutique hotel in here. Stepping into the back of the car is nice and easy thanks to the raised ride height. Bear in mind this seat is in Ben's driving position, he's 6'3", and I have an ample amount of legroom and an ample amount of headroom, even with the panoramic sunroof. It is tilt and slide, and it makes it feel nice and light and airy back here, even with the privacy glass. Now, you're going to be able to carry 3 children back here and 2 adults. A word of caution, if you're planning on carrying 3 adults, this centre seat is a touch firm and the transmission tunnel is a bit large. There is ISOFIX points on both these outer seats, and you have side airbags. You also have electric windows, the sound system, the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is amazing, I love it. Air conditioning, a 12-volt socket. The pull-down armrest is very robust. and there's 2 cup holders in there. There's nice nets on the back of the seats, and you have decent sized door bins which could fit a large bottle of water. When it comes to interior build quality and practicality in this car, you really do have to find fault. The only thing I can find is these cutouts on the door where it looks like there should be a button and there isn't, but that's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Coming to the back of the car, you do have a powered tailgate. This is controlled using the key, or there is a button on the driver's door. Once you're back here, you have 550 litres of boot space. Once you fold the seats down, that increases to 1550. There is barely any lip between the rear seats and the boot floor, and it does fold completely flat. You have little cargo nets on the side, nicely finished tethering points, and a collapsible spare wheel. There is also some straps here to hold things in place. Now, one thing is there is a bit of a load lip, however, you can rectify that by using the air suspension to lower the entire back of the car.
The Q5 has strikingly good looks, just like its siblings, with the satin effects and also the sculpted bumper, and this iconic big grille too. And look, a front-facing camera. At the front of the car, you've got this front-facing camera that I mentioned before. Now that makes it really easy to park. It also makes it easier to see when you're coming up to something how much space you've got. That's complemented with parking sensors. You've also got matrix headlamps as well, which are automated, and rain sensing wipers. Stepping round to the side of the car, the first thing you'll notice is the raised ride height. That's due to the adaptive air suspension. You can adjust the height of the vehicle depending on the terrain you're on. You've also got 20-inch alloy wheels, power folding wing mirrors which are heated, and also keyless entry. And when you open the door covers the sill, which means no more muddy trousers. You've also got privacy glass and this surround around the windows, which is in chrome, giving it that executive feel. And also, it is one thing to note that this takes AdBlue too. And don't forget those cool roof rails and the panoramic sunroof. Stepping round to the rear of the vehicle, you're reminded this is the TDI model with quattro all-wheel drive. You've also got parking sensors and a reversing camera. High-level boot spoiler, shark fin aerial, and if you look down here you've got a chrome effect around the rear diffuser, making it look a very cool car indeed. So what's the Q5 like to drive? It's very, very smooth. The gear changes are exceptionally good, and the power delivery it feels really good. It's a refined experience. There's no jerkiness. It's very smooth. The one thing I would note is that if you try and launch it from standstill at a roundabout or something, there is a slight hesitation before it kicks, but then when it kicks, it'll pin you in your seat. The way the car handles, you point it somewhere, it goes. I mean, you can, in a word, floor it round a corner and it will just grip. And even in a standard mode and comfortable, you know, the comfort modes and the efficiency modes, it still holds the road exceptionally well, but without that rugged tightness, if that makes sense.
Well, whenever you're a passenger and you're experiencing some more spirited driving, it's still very comfortable, but the car feels under control. It doesn't wallow. Economy wise, we've been getting what then?
About 40 to the gallon we've been getting. I mean, currently we're getting 31, but we're on country road. This is probably the model we'd go for, because let's face it, a V6 diesel will be quite thirsty. Yeah. Exactly.
You also get the driver assist screen as well.
That's very clever, actually. You know, it just keeps your mind on there, so it'll flash up and it'll give you a quick warning, especially if you don't know the road.
And I think Audi's virtual cockpit is class leading. Would you say, as a driver, that this is a car that you would buy on driving alone? Well,
let's face it, after I drove that Q2 Quattro, I fell in love with the Quattro system. It's phenomenal. I love the way it handles. I love the power it puts down, and it feels great. And the Q5, speaking of Q2s, there's one now. The Q5 is no different. It's just a touch bigger, but even when handling and pushing it to similar levels, there's no wallow, there's no slide. It grips. It's perfect.
So what's our verdict of the Audi Q5?
It's practical, it's relatively economical, and it looks great.
Yeah, you can't fault the interior build quality or the practicality. The tech on this car's great too.
Yeah, you've got levels of autonomy, it's got the driver assist, it's also got a damn good sound system as well.
Yeah, right. Well, I think I made it perfectly clear. I really like that sound system.
And I love driving it, that quattro, you know, the refinement, that 7-speed box. Okay, it could be a little less hesitant, but it's a very good engine and the power delivery is great.
Now, we have also reviewed the Audi Q2, so if you're looking for something a touch smaller, then that's well worth taking a look at. You can click the link above us now.
Also, I mean, you don't even have to get this engine either. You could get a petrol. I think that's something like the 2-litre TFSI, which I'm assuming is something similar to a Golf GTI engine.
Yes, if you're looking for something even more sporty, then you've got an SQ5 to choose from as well.
Yeah, and as you know, when we had the Q2 Quattro, I mean, that's probably a similar spec to that. I mean, SQ5 is probably even more powerful.
Yeah, but overall it's been a very impressive car for us.
Oh yeah, it's quick enough, it's economical enough, and it's a pleasure to drive.
Yeah, the only thing that is worth mentioning is this one is £54,000, but they do start from just under 40.
It's also very family orientated and it's pretty safe as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Euro NCAP Safety 5.
So yeah, for more impartial car reviews, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any questions regarding this car, please leave them below and we'll endeavour to answer them.